So my story of finding an owl in New Mexico is, I think it was on a telephone wire. I even think it may have been on somebody's mailbox. It was very small, smallest
Oh,
owl I've ever seen.
did it have long legs? Do you remember if it had long
It
legs?
was like seated on its legs, so I didn't really get a good look at them.
Yeah, we do have these kind. I forget what they're called, but they are
Are
very
those
small. They have long,
screech
tall legs.
owls?
No, that's not a screech owl. I
Okay.
forget what it's called, but it's something that burrows in with other burrowing animals. Like
Oh,
they have like a symbiotic kind of relationship
yes.
with burrowing animals.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
those are more ubiquitous here. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
So yeah, great horned owl right outside my window. Very, very super, super exciting. Like I literally was jumping up and down like a kid, but I was trying to be quiet.
did
But it heard me and it kind of looked down
it
and then
hear you jumping up and
I
down?
must have heard something. Like I thought I was because I was like I was just so I
Yes,
was like literally felt like a little kid, like, oh my God, oh my God.
it's so cute.
It was just very majestic and it was so close. I think that's what it was. It was just so close up.
Yeah.
And anyway, then it flew away. And that was that. And then a day before that or a day after that, I don't remember, saw bobcat, which also, we have here.
Oh,
I've heard people say, oh,
oh,
yeah, they see them all the time, but I never did. And now I did
that's awesome.
in our
I never
driveway.
saw a bobcat when I
Yeah,
lived in New
they're
Mexico.
beautiful. They're really beautiful.
So beautiful.
They're not
Wow.
necessarily to be feared, not necessarily, they,
Not necessarily.
they'll eat your little cat or whatever if you, but they
They
won't
won't
bother
eat your kid.
you.
So I would like to talk about starting with these two animals as totem animals. If one has a connection with owl and seems to see owl in a lot of places and
Mhm.
at different times, owl is an interesting one because owl is like the shaman owl, but owl also can signify death. And it made me think of your friend who you just lost and then
Mm.
seeing that owl. So
Mm.
as Jeremy Taylor says, dreamer's choice, share as much or less as you want. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm actually just looking up owl medicine because I looked it up the other day and it said something different.
Oh, deception. It says deception, I think.
Um, wisdom, and that comes across in every different website that I looked at, is wisdom, intuition, and supernatural power,
Yes.
independent thinker, and observant listening, which I really feel like that suits me. Like I feel like that is my medicine.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I definitely that. Yeah, like this doesn't say anything about death, but I'm sure there are other. Yeah,
Oh
there are other.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
And that's a
I,
superstition, I mean,
yeah, and I don't particularly. That doesn't really work for me actually, because what does that mean? I mean, uh, yeah, what does that mean, death? I mean, I'm not saying what does death mean, but like, what
yes.
does it mean, like to have owl medicine that signifies death? Does that
I
mean
I might
portend
think
the death, or?
if this was my totem and I saw the owl, I might think that it was, showing me,
Excuse me.
bless you, showing me death on a metaphorical plane. So that could be synonymous with a spiritual rebirth. It's
Okay.
death. So something has to be let go of
Yeah.
for then the rebirth.
Yeah, I guess I didn't experience. I mean, okay, so I will just say that my friend, I don't know if I shared this last time, but a very, very close friend passed away a couple of weeks ago when I happened to be visiting in New York, and she was there, and
Good, good.
happened to have been the last friend to see her several days before she died, and we spent time together and we made art together, and I felt very blessed and gifted by that um, connection with her right before she passed. And I did have a sighting of an eagle, which I have never in my whole entire life seen an eagle. I mean, maybe
Really?
I have,
We have eagles here.
but this was so clearly an eagle. Like I
Wow.
just
Wow.
lost her husband, who was about to essentially take her off life support, and I wasn't even home yet, and an eagle came right over my car.
These are
So that
beautiful,
felt
beautiful.
significant.
moments, what did you feel? Did you feel like
I just felt like
a
that was her.
company,
I
you know,
felt like
like
it was her spirit just being like,
spirit?
I'm soaring now. I'm not in
Yes,
this, you
I
know,
love it.
this fucked up body anymore. I'm
Yes, yes.
just
She's
so
free
not
of the body.
yeah, it felt like that. And it felt like, yeah, I'm okay. Like it
Yes,
just like you know, it just felt like her spirit moving on. That's what it
love
felt
it.
like, her spirit moving on. And the owl sighting, you know, the fact that I am seeing all these animals all of a sudden, I am sharing it with her husband
Yes.
too, because we're both kind of feeling this connection to nature and, you know,
Mm.
feeling her and feeling connected to her through different things. Like he was talking about, he saw a monarch butterfly and he felt like that was her, you
Yes.
know, just kind of flitting by and just a reminder. So, you know, I don't know what's true about all of that, but, you know, it's comforting, I think, for people to
And
kind of
especially
have.
people who look for meaning in their lives,
Yeah,
meaning seekers. Like that's very meaningful. Seeing a
yeah,
butterfly, and that would be transformation,
yeah,
and for
definitely.
my dream.
And
So that's
you know, I owls to me, I feel like I want to dig this thing out and show you, but it might take too long. Um, I've been into owls since I was a kid. But I didn't know what it meant or anything. I
yes,
knew that I thought they were super cool and beautiful
yeah.
creatures. And when I was, I don't know, 15 or so, as a project in high school, I did a twin size sheet, bed sheets size, um, batik of an owl in flight. And it
Oh,
would have been a great horn owl, but I didn't
in
know.
flight, it's flying.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. It's actually amazing. Like I am saying this, I couldn't do it today. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, it's
Your
quite fake now.
15-year-old self.
My
Yeah,
15-year-old self wasn't afraid of anything, and it was just like so enamored with this thing that I
that's
just
right. That it will
detail.
depict it. I
Yeah,
shall depict this.
I shall do this because it's cool. And I
Yeah,
did. So anyway, one of these days, maybe I don't know where it is. I'll take it out and show you. But
I'd love to see it.
yeah.
So it's kind of a good segue into my dreams about bald eagles, that I have identified bald eagle as one of my stronger animal totems. And I have like a series of dreams with bald eagles. And I'd like to share three of them. They're just snippets. They're not. In one of the dreams, and this is when I think I was living in New Mexico, I climbed up a tree. Oh no, there was an eagle sitting on a branch of a tree, and it made eye contact with me, the yellow eyes. And then we just like were staring at each other. And the eagle said, a baby is going to be born, the midwife is there. And it was just like a very natural feeling, very native, possibly feeling, being in New Mexico. And so that was probably my first eagle dream. So then I was looking out for them. I mean, it looked me in the eye. It was like claiming me. Um, and I had a dream that I was at the Ashokan Reservoir, which is a reservoir we have here in, where is it, Olive Bridge. And all of a sudden, again, this is a dream, all of a sudden, a huge bald eagle head rises up from the water. And I think I was floating around in like a kid's inner tube type thing. So I wasn't actually in the water, but I wasn't in any place to get out of there fast either. But I know, of course, I didn't feel threatened by it at all. But it was just such a sight to see this eagle rise up out of the water.
Wow.
And then save the
Wow.
best for last. Another eagle dream I had. I dreamed that I was standing right in front of a bald eagle, and we were making out. I was making out with the bald eagle, and he pretended to be smoking one of his tail feathers. He just like pretended to be. And he gave me, so I think then he put that tail feather in my back pocket, like very flirtatiously. So that was eagle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What do you make of that one? That one's kind of interesting. I mean,
I
rolling.
feel I feel similarly with all three, that they are claiming me, that I have some work to do, that Eagle finds valuable. I don't actually know. I just think
What do you make of eagle medicine? Like, sorry, I'm just adjusting this.
fine.
Do you,
I like that one. Your skin is more like honey than super bright. Those who are just listening, Ellen is just futzing around with her
my
lighting.
I'm having weird shadow issues going on here.
That's interesting. So I think in the Native American animal cards, medicine cards, written by David Carson, who's Choctaw, and some woman, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking of her name right now, but she's co-written other books and probably authored some of her own. So eagle in that book means, what does it mean? It means spirit. Eagle means spirit. And so, fly so high is eagle has symbolized so many different peoples around the globe, who associate with eagle, because it's, it's fierce and it's, wow, it's awesome. It's awesome, is I think.
I always think of eagle as like independence. Maybe
Yeah.
like
Because the US.
Bird, right? But I mean, I wonder if that's why they picked it. I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm kind of Googling things because I'm so curious.
And I believe the Native Americans, I don't know which tribe or more than one, also really valued eagle, and eagle was significant in their cultures too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think Rome, right?
Oh, wait, eagle. Oh, I just saw something on it. So I'm watching like this teen drama show called Heartland.
Okay.
It's filmed on a ranch.
I actually like teen drama.
I actually do too. That's my guilty pleasure. And yeah, it's filmed on this incredible ranch somewhere in Canada. I forget where. Yeah. Amazingly gorgeous scenery. And anyway, it's all about horses and the relationships. Yeah. And, this young girl's like a horse whisperer and whatever. And there's a Native American. There's something that happens, and they're doing a ceremony, and this is a Native American guy. He's like the original sort of horse whisperer. And he says something, he holds an eagle feather and he's holding it up. And he said something like, the eagle is supposedly the only being that has touched God, or touched the Great Spirit.
Wow.
Like, flown to touch,
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
But I was like, oh, that's super.
That's cool. I love it.
Cool. So I think eagles, I think spirit, like you said, spirit. That's the connection.
Yes. Yeah. So, and what animals do you find in your dreams now and again?
Let's see. I tend not to dream. So, I mean, if I dream about animals, it's often like dogs and cats, like my dogs.
Like domestic. Yeah.
Domestic animals. Horses. I have horse dreams. Mm-hmm. Yep. Remember the horse dream? I don't know. Several weeks or so ago. And then there was
I remember we interpreted absolutely opposite each other.
Yeah, and I still don't really know what that one means.
Listener, that just goes to show you dream work is subjective.
Yeah. And the only one who knows what your dream means is you.
Exactly.
Ultimately, right?
Projective.
Yeah. People have all sorts of opinions and thoughts. And, sometimes it catches you and it's like, whoa, it's interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, that doesn't really.
No, it doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I don't have, I don't have those, kind of, magical, like I remember when we were in Robert Moss's dream workshops together, and we would sort of laying down in a circle and going on the dream journeys, right? And he would be drumming. And I always, people would come back and I thought, they are making this shit up. They would come back from.
There's no way.
It's like, I was in a crystal palace and there was a puma and a lion. I'm like, come on. And I know. That was just me being
I see. And that's you like first dipping your toe in with, well, I don't know if it's the beginning, with this group of dreamers. You know, Robert Moss has a very specific,
yeah, he draws a specific kind
like
of
a shamanic, it's like more
well, but
magical dreamer.
yeah, like shamanic really works for me,
Yeah,
earth-based,
yes,
nature-based
yes,
spirituality totally
yes,
100% works for me.
yes,
It was all very fantastical, and so I'm not saying that people really didn't have those visions and
yes,
dreams, but it wasn't what I was having. That's what I
yes.
want to say. It
Okay.
just, that wasn't happening for me. It was all very, whatever I come up with, and
Yeah,
some of it was quite imaginative, but it was
yes.
never like wild animals or crystal palaces or
Ah,
magical castle or
yeah.
whatever. I'm
I
being a bit
love it.
judgmental,
I love it.
but
Well, yes,
yeah.
you mentioned imagination, and I thought that was another good segue. So
Hmm.
I've been doing, listeners, Ellen knows this, and I think you know this too. Last episode was episode 75. I feel like, woo, that's really intense. And so I think that the imagination is like one of the last uh, places to venture. You know, you're discovering what's in the ocean, or we're discovering now what's in space. But I think if we don't use our imagination for positive and um, like good images and healing and prayer, then I think that we're missing out on a vast resource within ourselves. You know, and I've been now listening to three different teachers on YouTube. The first one, he's amazing. His name is Sadha Guru, and he's like amazing. I'll send you a link later. And the second one is, oh, I hope that's not a mouse. My cats are like doing something. The second one is, his name is Neville Goddard, and he's like from the 40s or something. It's like you wouldn't think that he's a spiritualist, or I wouldn't think that he's a spiritualist. He looked like just any other guy, you know, and which reminds me of the line in the, so I just saw The Matrix again, and I had to watch the ending 3 times because I just needed that. And at one point, Neo says to Trinity, I'm just a guy. Like, I'm just a guy. And then, of course, he was the savior of their world. So this man is just a guy, but the first couple of YouTube videos of him I saw, I felt like I was being given the manuscript for life. I felt like, oh, this is how we live life. Like I didn't know, I didn't know that, you know, or possibly I knew parts of it, but it reaffirmed that for me. It was an affirmation for me in that way. And yeah, so I've been using imagination now, and I think I've talked about it in last episode also. I have created a prayer cathedral. I feel like I really believe in the power of prayer, very, very much in every bit of my being. And I thought, well, then and I would like say a prayer here or there for whomever. But I thought, if I really believe in this, then I need to, commit some time and energy. And one of the things that Neville says is, he doesn't call it the liminal space between waking and dreaming. And of course, Ellen, this is where we would incubate a dream in the liminal space, and then, getting ready to go off to dreamland. But he says that is the place where you can manifest what you were thinking about so strongly, or praying for. He's saying that that not creativity, but, or maybe he is saying creativity or just imagination, but he's saying imagination is the Christ. and he's very biblical. He's quoting Old Testament, Torah and New Testament. And he feels that that is so connected because everything's already been created. Somewhere in scripture it says that. I don't know where. And so now we are the creators, and we get to create whatever we want in our imagination. And we think that we're not very responsible for what we think. It's not my words, it's not what I'm doing, just what I'm thinking or dreaming. And I am learning that that is not true. That in fact, we are expected to join a higher frame of mind. And that spirit is not going to let it just pass by. I feel like I'm learning so much these days. And one of the things that I did is I have created what I'm calling a prayer cathedral. And so I built it in my imagination. And at first I thought, is it made of stone? Is it like an old church? And then I was like, is it in a grove of trees and more of a pagan ritual? And but I would go there every night, and a friend said to me, I'm like, I just don't have it quite worked out yet. And my friend said, well, you're just laying the groundwork. You're just starting the habit of like going into this space. So it doesn't have to be like a fixed thing in your mind. I mean, it's your imagination. You can change it and expand it, or however it is that you want to work with such an image. So what it ended up being is, well, there's a stream there, and there's a wonderful spiritual seeker, animal communicator, Anna Breitenbach, who in one of her documentaries, it shows her sitting there, and she just lifts up a rock and places it down, and it's perfectly balanced the first try. And she's just so in tune with the world. And so she is sitting along the stream, and I learned, I keep saying I'm learning so much. I learned that in my imagination that this place needs to be filled with animals. It needs to be peopled with animal persons, And so, that was one thing that I learned. I'm learning so much. So I used to just fill up the cathedral in my imagination. But I learned, no, I need to greet the people as they walk in. And then I also realized they need to walk in the same way as if you were walking into a sweat lodge, where you walk in and you go clockwise around. And that's what I figured that they needed to do. And and some people just come by, they stop by for a day. They need a little extra juju, and some people are staying in that prayer cathedral because, and I feel that, I work with it a little bit, like I know who all the people are in the prayer cathedral. And sometimes I switch their places with each other, as I think, oh, Story will be really good next to these children who just lost their dad. Or, oh, she's like a great female luminary. I'm going to put her with these female luminaries from here to there, in the cathedral. And so, and it goes on. And one of the last things we do is, because there are so many healers in this cathedral, that we add our healing light into the center. And lately, wow, the universe is like meeting us, surpassing us, and like dynamic. And at first it was just us, giving our prayers. But now, this is only like the past 2 days, it's a storm of light. It's very,
You
very,
say us, who do you mean?
us in the prayer circle, cathedral.
Yeah. Just human beings. Yeah. Who do
Well,
you mean?
in what context? How did I say it?
You just said, us. We're, us, and we're meeting them, and us, you just said
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I think that's kind of cool. But
Did you mean you? Or
I don't know.
that is,
Me, myself, and I. Uh,
or
yeah.
maybe you just mean other spirits like you who you're joining.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
we're all joining in
I
that.
think we
Or,
are.
some of us, not all of us,
Listen
but
to Neville Goddard. He's
yeah.
freaking amazing. And then I also love that guy who lives in Taos.
Greg Braden.
3G Greg. 3G Greg. Just get it.
Is that how you remember it?
He uses the 2 G's at the end of his name. So yeah, and I find these 3 people I'm mentioning and so many others have the exact same message, that you co-create your life and
Totally.
that you just put focus on what you wish to attain, and everything works in your favor to have you attain it. And it's, I think, because Neville Goddard often says it's the secret. I think that it's based on his teachings, that the book, The Secret, was probably written. And I never read it. I did see the movie, and there were some things I was wowed by for sure, but I found it to be too materialistic. Oh, I put $100 bill on my ceiling, and not $100 bill, $1 million bill or whatever, wrote out a bill. And he made tons of money. Or this woman who really wants that necklace in the jewelry store, and then she gets it unexpectedly a week later. So I just felt like
Nonsense.
I'm
That's
not
not what it's about.
interested. Say again.
That's not what it's about. It's not
No.
about material things, although you could add if that's for the greater good.
That's what floats your boat.
Right. Well, if I wanted money, it would be for something very specific, like some project that I want to build, community project or something. It wouldn't just be for like a new refrigerator or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get that it's not about that, but
yes,
it's kind of an illustration.
But I believe there, because it's that like meets like. Is that what they call it? Or positivity brings positivity?
Law of attraction.
Law of attraction. Thank you.
Yeah, right. That it's a vibration, and I really believe that too. It's like
also do.
Energy vibrates, right? That's physics.
Absolutely.
And if you're vibrating at a certain level, you're going to attract that,
yes.
thing.
Yeah. Right. That we have soul groups, not just soul mates. We have soul groups of people that we resonate with. And that's resonate. I mean it literally. People we resonate.
Yes, literally. That's where that word comes from, right? It's just really resonating.
Wow, I love it.
I think that's what that word means. Really.
Yeah.
When we say, oh, you really resonate with that, it's like
right. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then once we've added so much healing, light, and energy in the middle, we being the people in Prayer Cathedral, and then the universe, then I send it out around the globe. And so I have in like minutia, in small detail. I was in like Louisiana, and there was an old woman on a respirator, and so I was also like giving her blessings, whomever. I was just imagining different people that could be struggling right now. And but it's really exhausting because I have to go to every continent. And if you're close in, it's a big world, but now, and I just learned this, I think last night. See, this is what I mean by saying I'm learning so much every day. Sometimes I used to, so at the end, sorry, I keep talking over myself. At the end of our prayer cathedral, when all of the guests have filled the space, then it's me and my 3 kids, my 2 boys and one of their fiance, and I say the Hebrew prayer that surrounds us with the angels. So we say, in the name of God of Israel. May Michael be at my right, Gabriel at my left, Oriel before me, Raphael behind me, and above my head, the Holy Shekinah. So I've had to picture these angels in different ways, you know, in different cultures. They were all different cultures for a little while. And then it just got, again, it's kind of exhausting work. It's hard work, you know, like in the mind. And yeah, hang on one second, Alan, okay?
Sure.
I think Lev is going out.